You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and my co-host, Keelan Harvey, at your local mortgage experts right here at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, May 26th show. It is a great day to talk money, and that's what the show is all about, how to make money, save money, and have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can talk with us by calling the show at 1-855-400-1150 or get connected with the guests that we have in studio. You can also go online to themoneyhour.com. And right now in studio, first time actually for all of my guests in studio today, I'm very excited, but my first guest is Kerstin O'Shields with Body Language Strategy System, create and impact gain more sales without saying a word. Now, this is a radio show, so we don't have any cameras here, which is unfortunate. I should have brought cameras in for a special show here with you because it's all about body language.
Yes,
but
that would have been great.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Of course. And a little bit about Kerstin. With 25 years in training and performing in theater and opera, Kerstin O'Shields has acquired an in-depth knowledge of all levels of communication. Kerstin brings her unique skills, talents, and understanding of nonverbal communication to life in a program that impacts how each of us is viewed and received with focused body gestures, postures, and expressions. Wondering what she's thinking of me over here. Kerstin is the CEO and founder of the Body Language Strategy System, a training program for learning and communicating leadership and extensive presence through enhanced nonverbal communication and messaging. Kerstin speaks and trains nationally on body language strategies for businesses and perform her keynote speeches for organizations such as Google, eBay, National Women's Council of Realtors, which I'm a big part of WCR.
Yes.
And at the Miss Washington program. And also she's going to come in and spend time, do her keynote with my real estate expert professionals as well. So very excited to have you here. Thank you again so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Kerstin, we're dying to know. So why is body language a big deal in business?
Your body language is 80% of your communication. So if you're showing up with connecting only with your audience and your target prospects, with just your information, you're missing out on 80% of the connection you can have that affects every ounce of the sales process. It affects how you attract your target audience, how you move them into becoming a client, and then it also affects your referral system. Because if you're connecting trust, you're connecting approachability, you're connecting confidence, all those things with the people that you're working with, you naturally are referred to their friends and to their family.
Yes.
So starting that right from the get-go, from your very first impression, all the way through the system is going to affect not only how easy it is for you and your clients, but how fast it goes.
Makes sense. So what you reflect on the outside or what you reflect out is what you reflect back in or to you. We've heard that saying. So what does that mean and how does it work?
So that is the mantra of the body language strategy system.
Okay.
What you reflect out is what is reflected back to you. How you walk into the room is how people are going to interact with you. It's the permission you're giving them of how you're going to talk with them and how they're going to talk back with you. Because what we do as humans, and we're talking in the primal brain, we emotionally respond to what we physically see. And we make those assumptions within the first tenth of a second. That's what a first impression is about. And then every ounce of the rest of your interactions are through that lens. And the trick with that is when you make a first impression, that sticks in the brain. It takes 10 full one-on-one hours to completely erase a first impression if it's not good.
Wow. So, and you're half the time you're not even paying attention to your body if you're not careful.
Right. And so what I find is about 40% of people's body language is what they're aware of. That's 60% of what's happening in the interaction they really are not paying attention to.
Interesting.
And that's 60% that you could be adding purpose to.
Of course.
And being purposeful with the conversations, being purposeful with your intent, and getting more purpose in your results.
So body language, I mean, that's obviously useful for any profession, but I imagine sales is huge in that. How does that apply to the sales process and with salespeople in general?
So what I do is I work with the 4 pillars of leadership, and the 4 pillars are confidence, competence, trust, and approachability. When you walk into the room exuding those 4 things, the conversation for your sales, whether it's with a brand new client or someone who is a prospect, when you have those 4 things shining out, again, you're reflecting those things out. Those are naturally going to be reflected back to you. So what happens is the conversation you're having moves faster when you show them what you have to offer in your service or your product. They're looking at it going, you know what, this person's very confident. Obviously, they know what they're talking about. I feel like they're easy and approachable to work with. This is a person I would like to spend time with, is what the primal brain is saying. That allows us to feel more comfortable working with you, which then it gives us more buy-in to what you have to offer.
Makes sense. So what are those 4 pillars again?
Confidence, competence, trust, and approachability. And in the body language strategy system, I have developed very specific body language that exudes those things. And I train others to show that on your body.
Yes.
So when you walk in, they automatically know that about you.
So give us a tip on, let's just start with confidence.
Yes.
I mean, obviously the way you're sitting up and the way you stand would have to do with confidence, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Actually, that's the number one thing is your posture. Yes.
Okay. So posture for confidence.
Absolutely.
What about for the second pillar?
For competence, this is the tricky one most people don't know about. That's showed in your fluidity. If you think about what we spend billions and billions of dollars on every year when we watch the TV and we watch people run around on a field, and that's all we're paying for. But we're paying for the fact that they do it exceptionally well.
Yes.
And we then give credence and acknowledgments to the people who are absolutely consistent about it. And that's why they become Hall of Famers, is because they're very consistent about how they move and they make it look easy.
Yes.
So when you move with agility, you're looking more competent. So if you think of in the art world, the prima ballerina, she has the most fluid motions. If you think of football, the man who's in Hall of Fame, he's the one who just soars down the field, makes it look easy. He's caught the ball.
Yes. Okay. What about trust?
Trust is through the torso. That's opening yourself to other people.
Okay. Makes sense.
Right. Because that's where we're most vulnerable in our physicality.
So, like, you definitely don't want to be crossing your arms.
You don't want to be crossing your arms.
You don't want to be putting your palms out like this, but maybe instead inviting them in with your arms coming in. I wish we had video.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And then approachability, the majority of that is in your facial expressions.
All right.
Are you looking people in the eye? Our number one thing is just smile. A lot of people forget to smile. That's a basic one.
Yes.
But then how you move your facial expressions in conjunction with your message is what brings a very consistent message to that person. And they go, well, yes, of course I need your help.
Yeah, and also I want to say on smile because I do a lot of speaking as well, and I know about smiling. And when I'm talking, I'm always like trying to make sure that I'm smiling inside. I'm excited about what I'm saying, coming from an authentic place.
Yes.
But then I've watched sometimes on video, or I'm doing a coaching program or something, and I'm like, wow, I was so excited, and I'm really smiling inside, but it actually didn't
not
come
show,
on my face. And so I would encourage anybody listening to actually, videotape yourself in a conversation you're having with yourself or in your office when you're talking on the phone. Just put a camera up there and just take a picture so you can really see what people are seeing when you're having that conversation with them. So anyways.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about leadership and confidence, how can body language help us to level up our executive presence, like to be that leader and really have other people look up to us?
In leadership, this is huge because this is how your team is going to respond to you. And you're giving the example to your team of how you want them to work together as a team. If you're walking into the room as the leader and you have 5 million things on your brain that you know need to be accomplished by this team, but you walk in with the frustration and your arms are folded and you're like, look, we got to get this done. And you have that harshness in your voice, everybody's going to recoil back and go, oh, my Lord, I don't even know what, I'm afraid to say anything. So now you're creating the environment of either they're pulling back from being the person to say something, or they're going to just be hiding and not say anything at all. Where if you walk in as the approachable leader, the encouraging leader, saying, okay, here's what we have on our table. I know we can do this. here's what I want you to do, here's what I want you to do. And when you're looking at that person with your own confidence, now you're instilling in them, I believe you can do this too. So it's all about your approach. And my hashtag is, how are you showing up?
Yeah.
And that works for everything on the individual basis, sales basis, leadership basis, always thinking about not just how you're getting the response, because what happens is most people wait for the response and then they actively want to do something about it. But I always tell my clients, if you're waiting for a response, you're too late.
Yeah.
Well, on a personal level, too, when you have a tough day at work and you come home and you're storming around and all that, that could help you there, too.
This works in every aspect of
well,
life.
All of our key successes and practices work in personal and, business. So,
Absolutely.
yes, so true. So, talking about confidence and how you show up in confidence, I bet you actually you want to have that that safe space where you're confident but not too confident, and you can be right. I mean, you can come into a place with clients or presenting or your family and come in with too confident.
Well, and that's where the posture becomes too tight. Yes, you're standing at your full height, but you're doing it through tension. So it's not just I'm standing tall, it's how. So back to that particular word, how are you standing tall? Are you standing on your center and your balance and being in a relaxed space in your own being, or are you really tight and tall, but now it looks very aggressive?
Yes.
And the second everybody walks in, they're like, oh, okay, I don't want to talk to you. Yeah.
Yeah, just being aware, it sounds like. So, Kerstin, how can people use body language strategy to create the experience with others in your business?
The beauty of the body language strategy system is it allows you to create the environment you want to create, because the purpose of it is to be able to come in with purposeful presence and this kind of body language and actions. Now you're going for a purposeful interaction, which now means you're going to get a purposeful result, which means this is where you have the ability to impact your environment and change the feeling of it. And again, like you said, this works in business and personal.
Yes.
And this is where you create the most impact with, no matter whether you're a leader, whether you're doing this with sales, whether you're doing this at home, allowing others the permission off of what you're exuding out to see what that's going to be like and to experience it, and then keep that very consistently happening, and you get that consistent result.
Yeah, interesting. And it is, the other person and how they're reading you, a lot of that is through their subconscious as well. They're not, It's not like it's just kind of all dynamic. It's happening all on its own, good or bad.
Well, exactly.
Right?
Well, and we're pack animals at the core.
Yes.
And so there's so much of what we're interacting with and what we're responding to that comes from the primal brain.
Yeah. And, so let's talk about first impression. And I want to talk about a handshake, because I really am trying to be intentional to shake hands like somebody shakes my hand. I'm the one that I have a really firm handshake, but I put my other hand, and I've noticed by learning about things, I never realized that I actually put my hand on top of the hand. I put it out, I shake hard, and then my other hand comes in. That's just kind of the warm personality piece, but coming in with the strength. So when you're that first impression, should you adjust how you're shaking someone else's hand to follow their lead, so you're kind of coming in with them, or?
It's something you want to be aware of. Again, you want to start with creating the impression that you want and the environment that you want.
Okay.
So putting that hand out, over squeezing.
Yes.
No matter if you put the other hand over, that's still going to register. That's still too much.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the strength to over squeeze, but it's a firm shake.
Yeah. So firm and friendly is where you want to go.
Okay.
And if the person, again, now you're watching their body language, if they're smiling with that, the hand over is going to be accepted.
Okay.
If you see a little pull away in the
Then
body,
don't do that.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
I have to ask. So as a man shaking a female's hand, some guys lean into the dainty shake.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want a dainty shake.
No, don't do that.
I've heard guys talking about the dainty shake, like they don't want to be too firm, so they go in a little soft. What's the correct way for a guy to shake a female's hand?
The same way you would shake a man's hand, without the over pumping and the extra hard squeeze, no posturing there. So it's just, you open the hand, and the palms are very interesting in body language because they show your openness.
Yeah.
So if you're going in with your hand, again, very tense, that's going to show, ooh, this guy's a little much. But just keeping your hand open in a nice, firm, but relaxed way, then it's nice and neutral, and then you can let it move from there.
Makes total sense.
Glad I'm doing it the right way,
Yes.
but I've heard this being a subject. So
Yeah, and we got to wrap it up. But I just really quick answer. I want to hear, what about using your hands?
Use your hands.
Yes,
Use your hands.
That's what But you don't want to get too crazy. Have that.
But be aware what you're doing with them.
Yeah, you don't want to be pointing out to somebody, because that is telling them. So I know
Right.
that means something bad.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited to have you on our Power Hour Lunch and Learn and get in front
I'm
of
so
my
excited to
agents.
do
And
that.
thank you for being here. We really appreciate you coming into the studio.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And coming up next in the Money Hour, are we starting to see a turn in the real estate market? Carrie Foley with Berkshire Hathaway, Home Services Northwest Real Estate, right here on 1150 AM KKNW after the short break.